Sarah, this chart is not a soft chart. This is not the chart of someone who came here to live quietly, please everyone, follow a ready-made belief system, marry peacefully, work comfortably, and disappear into the background. No. This is the chart of someone whose life is built around one central tension: truth versus comfort. And the reason I say that is simple. Your house lords are screaming it. Your entire chart is pulled toward the ninth house: Dharma, belief, father karma, teachers, higher knowledge, morality, fortune, law, philosophy, ancestral blessings, and the question of what you actually stand for when life strips away the performance. The first lord goes to the ninth. The second lord goes to the ninth. The third lord goes to the ninth. The fourth lord goes to the ninth. The fifth lord goes to the ninth. The 12th lord goes to the ninth. So let's be raw. Your life does not revolve around comfort. It revolves around meaning. It revolves around belief. It revolves around correction. It revolves around spiritual, moral, intellectual, and ancestral pressure. You may want simplicity, but the chart does not give you a simple life. It gives you a life where every major area eventually asks, what is the truth behind this? What is the principle? What is the lesson? What is the deeper reason? And that can become exhausting because you are not just living events. You are interpreting them. You are decoding them. You are trying to find the root of them. Your ascendant itself is Sagittarius in Moola. That means the personality does not accept surface answers. Moola digs. Moola tears apart illusions. Moola goes to the root. Moola asks uncomfortable questions. Moola is not interested in pretty lies. So from the outside, people may see someone philosophical, intelligent, strong, maybe even composed. But inside there is a relentless root-searching mechanism. You don't just ask, what happened? You ask, why did this happen? What pattern created it? What truth is hidden underneath it? What is the karmic root? That is the personality engine. Now the first lord Jupiter, the lord of self, body, direction, and identity, sits in the ninth house. So your identity is inseparable from wisdom, learning, teaching, philosophy, belief, and guidance. You are not designed to live without a guiding framework. You need meaning the way other people need entertainment. But Jupiter sits in Maga. This adds ancestry, throne energy, status, old power, lineage, pride, and inherited authority. So your personality carries a strange mix: wisdom seeker and royal memory. You may naturally advise people. You may naturally understand systems of belief. You may carry ancestral knowledge, family pride, or a deep subconscious pull toward tradition and authority. But here's the shadow. You can become too identified with being right. You can become attached to the role of the one who knows. And if someone challenges your belief, your intelligence, your moral position, or your judgment, it may feel personal. Not because you are weak, but because your identity is wired into Dharma. If your philosophy is attacked, it can feel like your source selfhood is attacked. That is the first major area needing attention. Do not confuse wisdom with superiority. You are meant to guide, not dominate. You are meant to illuminate, not preach from a throne. Now look at the second Lord Saturn retrograde in the ninth house. The second house is speech, family, food, wealth, values, lineage, and self-worth. Saturn takes all of that into the ninth. So family values, family conditioning, inherited morality, ancestral expectations, and the weight of respectability become major karmic themes. Your speech can be serious. Your words can carry weight. You may not speak lightly when something matters. But Saturn retrograde means the relationship with your own voice is not straightforward. Early in life, you may have felt judged, restricted, unheard, or forced to speak carefully. You may have learned that words have consequences. You may have developed a habit of holding back, then speaking with heavy impact when you finally do speak. Family karma can involve duty, reputation, tradition, moral pressure, or a sense that you must carry something older than yourself. And because Saturn is retrograde, you may internally question the very values you inherited. You may reject them, test them, suffer through them, then rebuild your own. This is not easy. It can create a person who appears principled but internally is constantly auditing belief systems. The consequence? If you do not consciously define your own values, you will keep reacting to inherited ones. Your wealth also grows through Saturnian roots: patience, credibility, long-term knowledge, discipline, institutions, teaching, consulting, structured advisory work, contracts, systems, and slow authority. Quick money may tempt you, but stable money comes when your knowledge becomes respectable and useful. Now, the third lord is also Saturn retrograde in the ninth. The third house is courage, effort, writing, skill, siblings, communication, and initiative. So your effort goes toward ninth house matters: education, philosophy, teaching, writing, spiritual systems, law, ethics, belief, travel, and guidance. But Saturn as third lord means courage is delayed. You may not always feel instantly confident. You build courage through repetition. You become strong after pressure. You become articulate after struggle. You become skilled after discipline. This placement can make you a serious communicator, but also someone who overthinks expression. You may wait too long before saying what must be said. Or, because the pressure builds, when you finally speak, the tone can come out colder, sharper, heavier than intended. Siblings or peers may carry karmic weight. There can be responsibility, distance, comparison, or duty there. The raw truth: your voice is part of your destiny, but it is not a casual voice. It becomes powerful when disciplined. It becomes damaging when suppressed too long. Now, the fourth lord Jupiter in the ninth house. The fourth house is home, mother, emotional security, property, inner peace, education, private happiness. With the fourth lord in the ninth, emotional peace does not come from comfort alone. You need a home with meaning. A home with books, learning, prayer, philosophy, culture, wisdom, or spiritual atmosphere. You cannot emotionally survive in a shallow environment for too long. If the home has no principle, no truth, no respect, no higher direction, you will feel displaced even if everything looks externally fine. Mother karma or home karma may connect with education, faith, foreign influence, tradition, teachers, or moral standards. There can be blessings, but because the ninth house is crowded with heavy planets, peace is not always peaceful. Home may become a place where beliefs clash. Family may become a battlefield of values. Emotional safety may depend on whether your truth is respected. The consequence here is major. If you keep living in environments that insult your inner philosophy, your nervous system will not relax. You need emotional alignment, not just emotional attachment. Now we come to one of the biggest signatures: the fifth lord Mars in the ninth, and the ninth lord Sun in the fifth. This is an exchange between the fifth and ninth houses. This is powerful. The fifth house is intelligence, creativity, romance, children, mantra, past life merit, judgment, and talent. The ninth house is Dharma, fortune, father, teachers, blessings, law, higher knowledge, and purpose. When these two houses exchange, intelligence and Dharma are locked together. Creativity and fortune are locked together. Children and teachers are locked together. Romance and belief are locked together. Talent and moral purpose are locked together. This gives a person who is not satisfied with ordinary intelligence. Your intelligence wants meaning. Your creativity wants authority. Your romantic life gets entangled with ideals. Your children, students, or creative projects become part of your destiny. But Mars in the ninth is not gentle. Mars brings fire, argument, courage, combat, protection, logic, and confrontation. In Maga, Mars becomes ancestral warrior energy. You can fight for your beliefs. You can become intensely loyal to a principle. You may also become angry when disrespected by teachers, father figures, elders, authorities, or people who claim moral superiority. And then the Sun, the ninth lord, sits in the fifth in Aries and Bharani with Mercury. This makes Dharma creative, bold, fiery, personal, and mentally expressive. You are not here to quietly believe. You are here to express belief. Teach it. Create from it. Speak it. Lead through it. Challenge others with it. But Bharani adds a raw layer: burden, morality, sexuality, endings, transformation, responsibility, judgment, and rebirth. So romance can become karmic. Creative life can come after emotional endings. Children or students can trigger deep responsibility. Your intelligence may carry a moral edge. The blessing is huge. You can become a teacher, guide, creator, counselor, speaker, strategist, spiritual analyst, creative authority, or someone whose ideas influence others. The danger is equally huge: ego around intelligence. You may not tolerate foolishness easily. You may become impatient with weak thinking, weak morals, weak commitments, or vague answers. But if you become too cutting, people will stop hearing the wisdom and only feel the fire. That is the second major area needing attention. Your intelligence must not become a weapon against intimacy. Now, the sixth lord Venus is in the sixth house in Taurus. This is strong because Venus is in its own sign. The sixth house is work, service, disease, debts, competition, enemies, criticism, daily routine, and problem solving. Venus here says you can solve problems through refinement. You can defeat conflict through grace. You can handle service, finance, beauty, food, wellness, design, relationship management, healing, and practical value creation. But because it is the sixth house, Venus does not get to simply enjoy. Venus has to work. Love becomes duty. Pleasure becomes routine. Beauty becomes service. Relationships become problem solving. This can create a pattern where you attract people who need fixing. Partners, colleagues, clients, friends, people may come with mess, and somehow you become the one refining, repairing, soothing, negotiating, organizing, or making things workable. Venus in Taurus gives taste, loyalty, material intelligence, beauty, sensuality, and value. In Mrigashira, it searches. It is curious. It wants fragrance, beauty, movement, discovery, and emotional variety. So there is a contradiction. Taurus wants stability, Mrigashira wants exploration, and the sixth house wants service. This can create relationship restlessness if life becomes too routine. It can also create health sensitivity around indulgence, food, sugar, comfort, sensual habits, or overwork. The raw result, you can win enemies gracefully, but you can lose yourself by becoming too useful. That is the third area needing attention. Stop confusing love with service and service with self-sacrifice. Now the seventh Lord Mercury is in the fifth house in Aries in Ashwini with the Sun. The seventh house is spouse, clients, public life, contracts, business partnerships. Mercury in the fifth gives intelligent partners, witty romance, business through ideas, creative communication, teaching, performance, writing, media, and strategy. But Mercury in Aries is fast. Mercury in Ashwini is even faster. This is quick speech, quick thought, quick decisions, quick attraction, quick irritation. In relationships, you need mental stimulation. Slow, dull, emotionally heavy partnership will frustrate you. You need someone who can think, respond, debate, create, and move. But the danger is impulsive speech. A sentence said too quickly can create damage. A sarcastic remark can cut deeper than intended. A clever argument can win the moment and lose the bond. Because Mercury joins the Sun, communication can become authoritative. You may speak with certainty. Partners may feel corrected, judged, or intellectually cornered if you are not careful. The consequence, relationship success depends less on love and more on communication discipline. If your words become weapons, intimacy becomes a courtroom. Now the eighth Lord Moon is in the 11th house in Libra, in Chitra. The eighth house is secrets, crisis, hidden pain, intimacy, transformation, inheritance, occult, psychological depth. The 11th house is gains, networks, audience, friends, elder siblings, ambitions, and social circles. So your emotional transformation happens through networks. Friends are not casual. Communities are not casual. Social circles can bring gain, but also drama, secrets, jealousy, hidden dynamics, emotional shocks, or sudden changes. Moon in Libra wants balance, fairness, beauty, and connection. But as eighth lord, the moon carries turbulence. In Chitra, the moon becomes visual, artistic, perfectionistic, design-oriented, and image-conscious. This can give gains through aesthetics, media, design, counseling, psychology, social platforms, healing circles, artistic groups, or transformational communities. But emotionally, you may absorb hidden tensions from groups. You may sense what people do not say. You may feel the politics behind smiles. You may detect imbalance in social settings quickly. The raw result, your gains come through people, but your emotional crises also come through people. That is the fourth area needing attention. Choose your networks carefully, because your moon absorbs the emotional sewage of the circles you enter. Now, the 10th Lord Mercury in the 5th house gives career through intelligence, creativity, education, communication, writing, consulting, teaching, media, analytics, entrepreneurship, strategy, children, performance, or advisory roles. You are not made for dead work. You are not made for repetitive systems where your mind is unused. Your career needs a creative intellectual channel. The 10th Lord in the 5th wants recognition through talent. It wants career to come from the mind, voice, analysis, performance, or original ideas. But because Mercury is in Ashwini, the career can involve speed, fast decisions, fast communication, startups, new ideas, emergency thinking, digital work, consulting, rapid learning, or launching things. The risk is impatience. You may start faster than you finish. You may speak before strategy is complete. You may underestimate the damage of rushed communication. Career rises when your intelligence becomes disciplined. Career suffers when your speech becomes impulsive. Now, the 11th Lord Venus in the 6th house shows gains through service, work, problem solving, finance, beauty, health, dispute management, practical systems, luxury, food, design, HR, medicine, counseling, or daily use value. But it also means income is tied to workload. Gains come with stress. Networks come with obligations. Friends may become demanding. Ambitions may create health pressure. Elder sibling or social dynamics may carry rivalry, duty, or transactional themes. Still, Venus is strong in Taurus, so the ability to earn is present. But the chart says money grows when value is made practical, not fantasy, not vague dreams. Practical value, useful beauty, structured service, refined problem solving. Now the 12th Lord Mars is in the 9th. The 12th house is loss, expenditure, sleep, foreign lands, isolation, hospitals, ashrams, spiritual release, and hidden life. Mars takes this into the 9th. This gives expenditure on education, travel, spiritual matters, teachers, pilgrimages, rituals, children, creative projects, or belief-based missions. It can also show hidden anger toward father figures, gurus, institutions, or moral authorities. Foreign travel or foreign philosophies may be significant. Spiritual retreats may help, but Mars makes rest difficult. Sleep can be disturbed by ambition, thought, unresolved anger, ancestral dreams, or philosophical anxiety. The 12th Lord in the 9th can be beautiful when spiritualized. It can give pilgrimage, retreat, surrender, and deep learning. But when unconscious, it creates waste through pride, ideological conflict, or fighting battles that do not deserve your energy. That is the 5th area needing attention. Not every belief battle is your war. Now, Rahu in the 9th intensifies the entire picture. Rahu in Maga wants power, recognition, status, taboo knowledge, ancestral authority, hidden systems, fame, and unusual teachers. Rahu in the 9th can make you obsessed with truth, but it can also make you vulnerable to powerful but distorted teachings. You may be drawn to unconventional spiritual systems, foreign ideas, occult frameworks, powerful mentors, elite circles, or knowledge that feels forbidden. But Rahu can glamorize. It can make intensity look like truth. It can make status look like wisdom. It can make a teacher look bigger than they are. So you must test every belief through ethics, results, and humility. Rahu in the 9th with Jupiter, Mars, and Saturn creates massive dharmic ambition. You may want not just to learn, but to master. Not just to believe, but to influence. Not just to follow truth, but to become someone who speaks it. That is powerful. But if the ego hijacks it, it becomes spiritual ambition disguised as wisdom. Ketu in the 3rd in Dhanishta adds another mystery. The 3rd house is effort, courage, hands, skills, communication. Ketu there shows past life mastery, detachment from self-promotion, and unusual technical or rhythmic intelligence. Dhanishta adds social ability, wealth focus, music, rhythm, action, and achievement. So you may have skills you underestimate. You may have courage that appears only in crisis. You may be better at independent effort than you admit. But Ketu can detach. It can make you inconsistent in promoting yourself. You may know things, but not always push them. You may have talent, but not always claim it loudly. The chart demands that you speak. But Ketu says, why bother? That contradiction must be resolved. You must use the 3rd house consciously. Write, speak, train, teach, publish, practice, communicate, build skills, and show your work. Because if you hide your voice, the 9th house overload becomes internal pressure. It turns into frustration, judgment, and restless philosophy with no outlet. So what is Sarah's raw functional dynamic? You are a Dharma-driven, truth-hunting, intellectually sharp, emotionally perceptive, creatively authoritative personality with heavy ancestral and belief karma. Your life is built around transforming knowledge into guidance. But the chart also shows a hard truth. Relationships, peace, and emotional softness can suffer if you become too identified with truth, intelligence, duty, and moral correctness. You are here to lead, but not to control. You are here to teach, but not to dominate. You are here to expose truth, but not to humiliate people with it. You are here to serve, but not to become everyone's repair shop. You are here to love, but not through criticism. You are here to rise, but not through ego. Your dominant areas needing attention are clear. First, belief systems. You must refine what you believe and stop carrying inherited moral pressure unconsciously. Second, speech. Your words can build authority or destroy intimacy. Third, relationships. You need mental stimulation, but you must not turn love into debate, correction, or duty. Fourth, networks. Your friends and audiences can bring gains, but also hidden emotional turbulence. Fifth, health and routine. Venus in the sixth demands balance in food, pleasure, service, and overwork. Sixth, father, guru, and authority karma. You are meant to learn from authority, challenge authority, and eventually become your own authority. And the final message of the chart is this. Sarah, your chart is not asking you to become more spiritual in a decorative way. It is asking you to become more truthful in a disciplined way. There is a difference. Anyone can collect beliefs, anyone can sound wise, anyone can quote philosophy. But your chart demands lived Dharma, tested Dharma, burned Dharma. Dharma that survives anger, pride, betrayal, ambition, family karma, relationship pressure, and the hunger to be recognized. When you are unconscious, you become the judge. When you are wounded, you become the fighter. When you are afraid, you become the critic. But when you are aligned, you become the guide. And that is the highest expression here. The house lords show a person who can turn ancestral fire into teaching, emotional crisis into insight, relationship struggle into maturity, and intellectual sharpness into real guidance. But only if the ego bows to wisdom. Only if the tongue learns restraint. Only if love is allowed to be softer than logic. Only if service does not become self-erasure. Only if truth is lived before it is spoken. If this reading spoke to you, and you want to understand how your own chart is actually playing out through house lords, exchanges, nakshatras, career, relationships, family karma, and the deeper architecture behind your life patterns, get in touch with me for a personal reading. Because your chart is not random. It is a map. And once you know the engine behind your life, you stop fighting shadows and start working with destiny.